The German reconnaissance pilot circles over southeastern England in May 1944. Below him, fields filled with Sherman tanks, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, artillery pieces positioned in grids, supply depots stacked with equipment, landing craft crowding the harbors. He photographs everything, returns to base, develops the film. Intelligence officers study the images with growing alarm. This is it, the invasion force, positioned directly across from Calais, exactly where German high command predicted. The shortest route to France, the most logical target, and the army is massive, possibly 1 million men. The photographs go to Berlin. Hitler studies them personally, nods with satisfaction. He was right. The Allies will strike at Calais. He positions 15 panzer divisions accordingly. Elite SS units, the best troops Germany has left, all waiting for the invasion. 1 month later, Allied forces storm Normandy beaches, 150 miles south of Calais. Hitler refuses to move his reserves. This must be a diversion. The real invasion is still coming at Calais. His intelligence is clear. His photographs are definitive. But here is what those photographs did not show. 4 American soldiers can carry each tank because they are made of rubber, inflated like balloons. They cost $100 each, and they are part of the greatest deception operation in military history. This is the Ghost Army, 1,100 artists, designers, and sound engineers who defeated 20 Nazi divisions without firing a single shot, who saved tens of thousands of Allied lives with creativity instead of firepower, and who invented the information warfare tactics that are being used against you right now. But before understanding how rubber tanks changed the course of World War II, we need to see why deception became more deadly than bullets. The year is 1943. The Allies are planning D-Day. The largest amphibious invasion ever attempted, and everyone knows it is coming. The Germans know, Hitler knows, the only question is where. Germany has spent 4 years building the Atlantic Wall, thousands of fortifications from Norway to Spain, millions of mines, artillery bunkers covering every beach, machine gun nests with overlapping fields of fire. This is the most heavily defended coastline in human history. If the Allies land at the wrong place, they will be slaughtered. If they land at a place Germany has heavily reinforced, they will be slaughtered. Everything depends on making Germany defend the wrong beaches. This is not a problem that can be solved with more troops or better weapons. This is a problem that requires the enemy to make mistakes, to believe lies, to defend against threats that do not exist. And solving this problem requires something the military does not traditionally use: imagination. The Allies need to create an army that looks real to German reconnaissance, sounds real to German listening posts, transmits real radio signals that German intelligence can intercept, but costs almost nothing and goes nowhere. They need to build the most convincing lie in military history, and they need artists to do it. But what kind of soldiers can create strategic deception on continental scale? And why would the military trust art school graduates with the fate of D-Day? The U.S. Army creates the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops in January 1944. The recruitment is unlike anything the military has done before. They do not want infantry combat experience. They want creativity, imagination, the ability to build convincing illusions under pressure. They recruit from the Pratt Institute, the Art Students League, fashion design programs. They pull sound engineers from Hollywood studios, set designers from Broadway productions, advertising copywriters from Madison Avenue. These men know how to make audiences believe what they see, how to create atmosphere with sound, how to sell products that do not exist, how to manipulate perception for profit. And now the military will use those skills for war. The Ghost Army receives equipment that seems ridiculous. Inflatable Sherman tanks made of rubberized canvas. They weigh 95 pounds. 4 men can carry one. A hand pump inflates it in 15 minutes. From the ground, it looks fake. From 500 feet in the air, it looks exactly like a real tank. Inflatable artillery pieces, fake jeeps, dummy supply crates made of painted canvas, an entire fake army that can be transported in trucks and deployed in hours. But the visual deception is only the beginning. What makes this revolutionary is the layered approach. Because humans do not trust their eyes alone, they trust patterns, they trust multiple sources confirming the same thing, they trust intelligence that comes from their own reconnaissance, their own signals intercepts, their own analysis. The Ghost Army is going to feed every intelligence channel simultaneously, and the Germans will convince themselves that the deception is real. The Ghost Army deploys sonic deception units. These are not simple loudspeakers. These are custom-engineered sound systems that can project audio 15 miles, mounted on half-tracks, operated by sound engineers who understand acoustic landscapes. They have recordings of Sherman tank engines idling, tank treads moving, artillery being positioned, supply convoys rolling through the night, radio chatter in multiple languages, maintenance crews working on vehicles. These recordings are not generic, they are specific. A tank battalion moving into position at night sounds different than a division preparing for offensive action. The timing is different, the density is different, the pattern is different. And German listening posts know these differences. They have been analyzing Allied movements for years. They know what a real armored division sounds like. So the Ghost Army gives them exactly what they expect to hear, at exactly the times they expect to hear it, creating acoustic evidence that confirms visual intelligence. But the most sophisticated deception is electronic. The Ghost Army operates entire fake radio networks, not just random transmissions, structured military communications that follow proper protocols, encrypted messages that Germans can intercept but not decode, radio traffic patterns consistent with corps-level command operations. German signals intelligence has been tracking Allied radio networks since 1940. They know division call signs, they know command structures, they know how real American radio operators communicate. The Ghost Army studies captured German intelligence reports, learns what the Germans look for, what patterns they recognize, what mistakes reveal fake transmissions. Then they create perfect radio traffic, encrypted properly, timed correctly, transmitted from locations consistent with real army movements. German intelligence intercepts these transmissions, analyzes the patterns, plots the locations, identifies division movements based on radio positioning. All of it is fake. All of it is engineered to exploit German intelligence gathering methods. And because it comes from German reconnaissance, German listening posts, German signals intelligence, the Germans believe it completely. They are not trusting Allied propaganda, they are trusting their own intelligence, which makes the deception unquestionable. But the Allies are going to use this capability for something bigger than individual battles. They are going to create an entire phantom army, and put the one general in command that terrifies Hitler more than any other. Operation Fortitude creates the first United States Army Group, FUSAG. 1 million troops, positioned in southeastern England, directly across the English Channel from Calais, the shortest invasion route to France, the most logical target for Allied attack. This army does not exist, but the Ghost Army is going to make it real enough to fool Hitler himself. They deploy inflatable tanks across southeastern England, fields filled with rubber Shermans, artillery parks with dummy guns, supply depots built from painted canvas, all positioned where German reconnaissance will photograph them. They play sound recordings of a massive military force, tank engines roaring, artillery being tested, convoys moving at night, the acoustic signature of 1 million men preparing for war. They transmit radio traffic indicating Army Group headquarters, division command posts, regiment communications, artillery coordination networks, all the electronic signatures of a real invasion force. German reconnaissance planes fly over, photograph the tanks, count the vehicles, estimate force strength, return with proof that FUSAG exists. German listening posts record the sounds, analyze the patterns, report division movements and unit concentrations. German signals intelligence intercepts the radio traffic, maps the command structure, identifies the army group formation. Every intelligence source confirms the same thing. FUSAG is real, FUSAG is massive, FUSAG is preparing to invade Calais. And then the Allies add the final touch that makes this irresistible to German thinking. They put General George Patton in command of FUSAG. Patton, the general who defeated Rommel in North Africa, who conquered Sicily, who the Germans consider the best Allied commander, the man they believe will lead the main invasion. Patton is real, his reputation is real, his presence in southeastern England is real. German intelligence tracks him constantly. So if Patton commands FUSAG, then FUSAG must be real. If FUSAG is in southeastern England, then the invasion must target Calais. The logic is inescapable. Hitler studies the intelligence, agrees completely, positions 15 elite divisions around Calais, waits for Patton to attack. But Patton is not commanding an army, he is commanding a theater production, and the audience is about to miss the real show. June 6, 1944, D-Day, Allied forces hit Normandy. 150,000 troops, 5,000 ships, 11,000 aircraft, the largest amphibious invasion in human history, and it catches the Germans by surprise. Not complete surprise, they knew invasion was coming, but they did not expect Normandy. They expected Calais, where their best divisions are positioned, waiting for FUSAG. Hitler receives reports of the Normandy landings, refuses to release the reserves at Calais. This is obviously a diversion, a feint to draw forces away from the real invasion target. Patton and FUSAG will strike Calais within days, maybe hours. The German commanders at Normandy beg for reinforcements. They are being overwhelmed. They need the panzer divisions, they need the SS units, they need support immediately. Hitler refuses. Those divisions must hold position at Calais. The real invasion is still coming. For 7 weeks, 15 German divisions sit at Calais, defending against inflatable tanks, while the real battle for France is decided at Normandy. By the time Hitler realizes Normandy was the main invasion, the Allies have broken out of the beaches, established supply lines, landed hundreds of thousands of reinforcements. The decisive phase is over. Germany has lost the advantage because Hitler believed his intelligence, and his intelligence was created by artists with rubber and sound effects. But here is what makes this genius of deception so economically devastating. An inflatable tank costs $100, a real Sherman tank costs $44,000. The cost ratio is 440 to 1. Building a fake armored division costs pennies compared to building a real one. The entire Ghost Army budget is a rounding error compared to one real armored division. But the value is not in the money saved building fake equipment. The value is in the enemy resources wasted defending against fake threats. Germany keeps 15 divisions at Calais. Each division requires ammunition, fuel, food, maintenance, command infrastructure. Each division represents billions in military spending, all defending against threats that cost thousands. The opportunity cost is catastrophic. Those divisions could have stopped the Normandy invasion, could have pushed Allied forces back into the sea, could have changed the entire war. Instead, they guard empty beaches, because they see tanks that are not there, because deception warfare inverts the economics of military power. Traditional warfare is expensive. You build armies, equip them, train them, deploy them, fight battles, accept casualties, rebuild. The costs are staggering. Deception warfare is cheap. You build fake evidence, make the enemy see it, let their intelligence confirm it, then watch them waste resources responding to illusions. The Ghost Army saves billions in equipment costs, saves tens of thousands of Allied lives by preventing German reinforcements, and costs almost nothing. This is asymmetric warfare at its purest form, minimal investment producing maximum enemy expenditure, the perfect economic weapon. And the Ghost Army does not stop at D-Day. Between June 1944 and May 1945, the Ghost Army deploys 21 times. Each operation follows the same pattern: impersonate a real division, create multi-layered deception, force Germans to respond to phantom threats, allow real Allied forces to strike where Germans are weakest. Operation Viersen. The Ghost Army pretends to be the 9th Armored Division preparing to cross the Rhine River. Inflatable tanks, fake radio traffic, sound recordings of armor concentrations. German intelligence reports a major armored force at Viersen, artillery repositions to cover the crossing site, infantry reinforcements move into defensive positions, reserves prepare for counterattack. Meanwhile, the real 9th Armored crosses the Rhine 100 miles south, meets minimal resistance, establishes bridgehead, breaks into German territory. Operation Bedemberg. Ghost Army impersonates 2 complete divisions in Luxembourg. Germans believe a massive offensive is preparing. They commit reserves to block the attack that never comes. Real Allied forces strike elsewhere through weakened German lines. Every operation works. Every operation saves lives. Every operation proves that perception is more powerful than firepower. The Ghost Army operates with minimal casualties. 1,100 men, 2 years of operations, fewer than 10 combat deaths. They do not fight, they create illusions, then leave before the illusion breaks. But the divisions they impersonate achieve real objectives. German units surrender to threats that do not exist. German artillery fires at fake targets. German commanders make catastrophically bad decisions based on intelligence that seems perfect. Because it is not Allied propaganda telling them lies, it is German reconnaissance showing them evidence. German listening posts recording sounds, German signals intelligence intercepting transmissions. The Germans are fooling themselves with their own intelligence gathering. This is the ultimate defeat, not being conquered by enemy force, being defeated by your own analysis. And the Ghost Army pioneered techniques that now define modern warfare. But what they could not have known is that they were creating the blueprint for a new kind of battlefield, one where everyone would become a target. Every principle of modern information warfare comes from Operation Fortitude. The strategy is identical: create false information, ensure the enemy receives it through their own intelligence channels, let them analyze and confirm it, then exploit their false conclusions. Gulf War 1991, coalition forces create fake amphibious invasion preparations in the Persian Gulf, inflatable landing craft, fake radio traffic indicating marine assault. Iraqi forces redeploy elite Republican Guard divisions to defend the coast. The real attack comes through the desert, same pattern as Calais and Normandy. Iraq War 2003, U.S. forces use GPS spoofing to create phantom army movements. Iraqi commanders receive false intelligence about American unit positions, deploy troops to counter threats that do not exist. Real forces strike from unexpected directions. Ukraine 2022, both sides deploy inflatable decoys extensively, fake radar installations, phantom artillery positions, dummy command posts, each side trying to waste enemy precision munitions on rubber targets, trying to manipulate satellite reconnaissance and drone surveillance. The technology evolves, the sensors improve, but the concept remains unchanged. Make the enemy see what you want them to see, trust what you want them to trust, decide based on false information. And now the battlefield has gone digital, and the targets are not just military intelligence officers anymore. The targets are everyone. Modern information warfare is Ghost Army tactics applied to civilian populations. The Ghost Army used inflatable tanks to deceive German reconnaissance. Modern operators use deepfake videos to deceive everyone, used sound recordings, now use AI-generated content, used fake radio traffic, now use bot networks creating fake social movements. The medium changed, the strategy did not. Create false evidence, ensure the target receives it through trusted channels, let them confirm it through their own analysis, exploit their false beliefs. Russia interferes in elections using fake social media accounts. Thousands of accounts posing as real citizens, creating impression of grassroots movements that do not exist, ghost armies of digital profiles instead of rubber tanks, same principle, different technology. China operates influence campaigns through fake news websites, manufactured expert opinions, fake think tanks publishing real-looking research, creating false information that appears legitimate, that passes initial scrutiny, that gets cited by real analysts. Western intelligence agencies conduct cyber deception operations, creating honeypot systems that look like vulnerable networks, digital phantom armies that lure attackers into traps, ghost army tactics in code instead of canvas. Every major power now operates information warfare units. Different names, different technologies, identical mission, deceive the adversary, manipulate perception, win through illusion. And the economics remain the same. Creating fake evidence costs thousands, forcing enemies to investigate and counter costs millions, asymmetric advantage through strategic deception. But there is a critical difference between 1944 and now. The Ghost Army targeted German military intelligence, professional analysts trained to evaluate evidence, and even they were completely fooled. Modern information warfare targets everyone, every social media user, every news consumer, every voter making decisions based on information they believe is real. You are not trained intelligence analyst. You do not have access to classified reconnaissance. You cannot verify information through multiple independent sources. You are far easier to deceive than German intelligence officers in 1944. And unlike the Ghost Army, which stopped when the war ended, modern information warfare never stops. It is happening right now, on every platform, in every news cycle, targeting every perception you have about reality. How do you know what is real? The Ghost Army succeeded because Germans wanted to believe. This is the critical lesson that makes deception so effective. Hitler expected the invasion at Calais. It was the logical target, the shortest route, the obvious choice. So German intelligence looked for evidence confirming that belief, and found exactly what they expected to find, because the Ghost Army gave them what they wanted to see. This is confirmation bias weaponized, human psychology exploited at strategic scale. The deception worked because it aligned with enemy assumptions, because it told them what they already believed. Modern information warfare operates identically. Deepfakes succeed because people want to believe them. Fake news spreads because it confirms existing worldviews. Social media manipulation works because humans trust information that matches their expectations. You see news that confirms your political beliefs, you share it, you do not question it deeply, because it aligns with what you already think is true. You are doing exactly what German intelligence did, finding evidence that confirms your assumptions. This is not stupidity, this is human psychology. Everyone does it. Intelligence professionals do it, military analysts do it, you do it. The Ghost Army exploited this. Modern information warfare exploits this harder. The difference is scale. The Ghost Army targeted specific military decisions. Modern deception targets everything. Your political opinions, your economic decisions, your social beliefs, your understanding of what is real. The battlefield is not Europe anymore. The battlefield is your mind. And the Ghost Army proved that perception can be completely manipulated. That false information delivered through trusted channels becomes indistinguishable from truth. Inflatable tanks fooled military reconnaissance. What digital inflatable tanks are fooling you right now? The Ghost Army won World War II with creativity and deception. 1,100 artists defeated 20 Nazi divisions, saved tens of thousands of lives, changed the course of history without firing shots, without building real armies, with rubber, sound effects, and radio transmitters. They proved that perception defeats firepower, that deception is cheaper than force, that controlling what the enemy believes is more valuable than controlling territory. That lesson is now fundamental military doctrine. Every advanced military deploys deception units, creates false intelligence, manipulates enemy perception, wins through illusion before fighting begins. But the Ghost Army was pointed at enemy military. Modern Ghost Army tactics are pointed at everyone. The deception has scaled from targeted military operations to global information warfare, from professional intelligence analysts to billions of civilians. And unlike 1944, there is no allied force coming to save you from the deception. There is just you, trying to determine what is real. In an environment where state actors, corporations, and hostile powers are all running ghost army operations against your perception. The ghost army proved that what you believe is more important than what is real. That false information delivered correctly is indistinguishable from truth. That confirmation bias makes everyone vulnerable to strategic deception. Modern information warfare has industrialized these principles, scaled them, automated them, applied them to every information channel you access. The question is not whether ghost army tactics are being used against you. The question is whether you can recognize them, whether you can separate real evidence from manufactured deception, whether you can avoid defending your own version of Calais while the real attack happens at Normandy. Because the army you cannot see is the army you cannot defeat, and the battlefield you do not realize exists is the battlefield where you have already lost. The Ghost Army won World War II with inflatable tanks. What are you defending against right now that does not exist? What real threats are you missing because you are looking the wrong direction? History's lesson is clear: strategic deception works, confirmation bias is exploitable, and the victor is whoever controls perception. The Ghost Army proved it in 1944. Modern information warfare proves it every day. The only question is whether you are the intelligence officer analyzing evidence, or the army defending empty beaches.